So guys, I'm going to talk a little bit about building a personal brand in this particular section. And I'll explain the reason that I wanted to set up a personal brand as well. Now, that said, setting up a personal brand is not always the best thing. The first thing I would want to highlight before you set up a personal brand is someone like Brian Dean recently got acquired by SEMrush. His brand was Backlinko. Now, of course, that's a sellable asset. Selling Craig Campbell SEO to someone is going to be really difficult. So when you're setting up a personal brand, of course, you can have your face on it. Of course, you can have your voice. You can have your opinion. You can have all of that stuff. But do you want to have it as your name? I would say I've probably boobed big style. I was a big fan of Matthew Woodward, and he was called matthewwoodward.co.uk. I wasn't able to get craigcampbell.co.uk. I have now, but I wanted to follow in the footsteps of Matthew Woodward because I just thought it was a cool thing to do. But when you see things getting acquired and bought up, you've got to be able to take yourself out of that business model, if you like. That said, if you don't want to sell and you just want to build a personal brand and be your own man and you've no aspirations to sell, by all means, go and do a personal brand. It has provided great value for me. You know, I think building a personal brand, people buy into people and all of that kind of good stuff, and you can make it your own. So there's two flips of the coin there. Just thought I'd highlight that. Now, why did I set up a personal brand in the first place? Now, I've had so many different business models, but at the time when I had my agency, I had a sales guy employed by the company. So I employed him, didn't give him equity or a share in the company and stuff like that. Not at the start anyway. I would have considered doing it, and I would highly recommend, if you've got a really good sales member of staff, do your best to keep them, whether that's bonus, equity, whatever. So the guy stayed around about a year and done a great job. We had a great working relationship. Everything was going well until one day he said to me, Craig, I'm going to leave. I want to start up in mode and all that kind of stuff. So I was pissed off. You know, I'd worked with him and helped him acquire a decent level of knowledge where he was able to sell this stuff. Easy peasy. So fair play, he went off, started up on his own and all that kind of stuff. However, when I was phoning round the customers, I'm like, hi, I'm now account managing this product and or your service. It's going to be me in charge now. And they're like, what happened to that other guy? And I'm like, he's left the company now. And they're like, I thought he owned it. And I'm like, no, I own it. And they're like, and who the hell are you? So no one knew who I was. Now, as an SEO, I wanted to hide in the background and have someone else to be the face of the company. But at that point, I put myself in a very dangerous position. Now, the sales guy didn't do anything, but he could have essentially pulled the rug from under my feet and took all of those clients to his new company. Not very ethical if he had done that, of course, but the potential for that was there. And obviously made me think a little bit differently, where I'm like, people don't know who I am. They don't know what I do. They know nothing about me. I've been following Matthew Woodward. And I thought, you need to make sure that if you do hire another sales guy, that people know who you are. And that's where I felt that going down the personal brand was a great idea at the time. And it has worked very well, if I'm being honest. You know, I think, you know, people now know who I am, and, you know, when they come to the website and you know, they don't necessarily have to speak to me, but they'll be aware of who I am, what I look like, and all that kind of stuff. So building a personal brand was based on that whole reason. And I'm going to go in depth in each of these sections of some of the good things, some of the pitfalls, some of the things I found difficult when building a personal brand. But I would wholeheartedly say if you want to do it, go ahead and do it. Just think of the domain name that you use, because you want to consider that as a saleable asset. You can still have your name plastered all over the place if you wanted to. Just bear in mind that I am probably going to struggle to sell Craig Campbell SEO. That doesn't mean I don't make money, doesn't mean I don't get exposure, doesn't mean I don't get sponsorship deals and all of that good stuff. So there are so many benefits to building a personal brand, and I'm going to talk you through a whole bunch of the things where I think the advice I give you will help you do this and cut out some of the mistakes that I made along the way. So that's what this section's all about. And if you've got any questions, feel free to reach out to me on social media and I'll try my best to answer them.